I'm documenting life.
Look into my eyes.
He's documenting you taking pictures.
When with Russia, you behave as you usually behave. Don't be shy, but don't scare people if you see they're moving.
So be yourself.
Okay.
All right, let's do this. Woo! Russia or bust. Woo!
All right. Have a safe trip.
Thank
I see you
you.
tomorrow. You call me if anything.
Driving to Chicago. On a scale of 1 to excited, where do you lie?
Excited.
I'm so excited. I can't even contain myself, but I'm trying really hard. You've been working on this whole grant thing for forever, right? Yeah. So, is this September we've been working on it? And how long have you been working since then?
24/7.
24/7? Yeah, it's been crazy, hasn't it? It just seems so, surreal.
Doing so much work for this.
Yeah, but it's finally happening.
I'm really excited for Mariinsky though.
Yeah?
That gets me super stoked.
We're gonna see a legit ballet performance.
I've never seen a ballet.
Red Square? Yeah, the Red Square is gonna be awesome. And the Kremlin. I think I'm excited for the White Nights. It's not gonna get dark until 11:30. The sun rises at 5 a.m. It's gonna be crazy.
I still can't even wrap that around my brain.
Goodbye, Michigan. We're going to Russia. Danya.
Alright guys, so we're on the way to the airport. It's May 20th, right?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel? How you doing, Laura?
Excited. Where are we at, Sean?
We're at the airport!
Where are we going?
New York.
And then where?
Finland.
Yeah, and then where?
Russia.
We love waiting in lines, don't we? Don't we, guys?
No.
Okay, violist. On location. Chicago O'Hare. Finally made it to check-in.
Waiting for Professor Fedotov.
Of course. Janae.
Yep.
How's it going?
Good.
Scared? Don't be.
Hey, look, it's where we're waiting.
We're in the airport.
Yeah, what's your airport?
JFK.
I'm thinking it's a sign, but the freckles in our eyes are mirror images, and when we kiss they're perfectly aligned. I have to speculate that God himself did make us into corresponding shapes, like puzzle pieces from the clay. True, it may seem like a stretch, but it's thoughts like this that catch my troubled head when you're away, when I am missing you to death.
Okay, so we just went through customs and we had a little bit of a hitch, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little about that.
Basically, my passport picture, I have blonde hair, now I have brown. So they had to call her supervisor, and he had to look at me, and he has to smile, take off my glasses, and show 2 other picture identification things.
So they were really concerned about identity there.
Yeah, they thought I was
Waiting to get those. Get that.
Tried my best to leave this all on your machine, but the persistent beat, it sounded thin upon listening. That, frankly, will not fly. You will hear the shrillest highs and lowest lows with the windows down when this is guiding
St. Isaac's Cathedral.
So where are we right now?
We are at the St. Isaac's Cathedral in the middle of St. Petersburg.
One word to describe the cathedral.
Glorious.
St. Isaac's Cathedral is the largest Russian Orthodox cathedral in the city of St. Petersburg. It is also one of the world's largest domed cathedrals. The cathedral is dedicated to St. Isaac of Dalmatia, because Peter the Great was born on the feast day of that saint. He therefore decided to build a cathedral that would honor this saint. 4 churches have stood where St. Isaac's Cathedral stands today. The first church was very small and was made of wood. It took 40 years to construct St. Isaac's Cathedral, from 1818 to 1858. The entire building actually stands on 10,000 tree trunks that were sunk into the marshy ground in order to create a more secure foundation. The church currently functions as a museum, and you can climb up to the top to get a breathtaking view of the city. There are approximately 300 steps from the bottom to the top of the building. There are also 112 granite columns surrounding the church.
Oh my gosh. We just climbed up so many steps on St. Isaac's Cathedral to get to the very tippy top, and we're still going. Okay, we're gonna go to the top.
So let's take a look at what we're looking at right now. Oh, look at that. So what do you think about it?
It's amazing.
Look at that epicness we have to walk down. And we made it!
The Bronze Horseman is a statue commemorating Peter the Great, the founder of St. Petersburg. Catherine the Great had this statue built in order to honor Peter, who preceded her on the Russian throne.
It's like in Moscow and just map too. There. It's fun to go out.
Good morning, Lucas.
Good morning.
Can you talk a little bit about the typical Russian breakfast that we're having here today?
It looks like there are a lot of bread foods. There's some sandwiches and some salad, which is a little bit unusual by American standards, but still tasty. And chocolate muffin and coffee and juice, pretty typical. During our tour of the St. Petersburg Conservatory, we had a chance encounter with an American student, Justin Pressman, who is studying conducting abroad.
My name is Justin Pressman. I am currently a Fulbright research grantee in St. Petersburg, Russia, studying orchestral and opera conducting at the Rimsky-Korsakov St. Petersburg Conservatory. And my professor is Leonid Korchmar. And with him, I am able to access all rehearsals and concerts at the Mariinsky Theater, where I specialize in learning the Russian operatic and ballet repertoire. There's a culture here of going to concerts, of people really are familiar with their culture, their operas, and their symphonic music.
What's up, guys?
Not much. We're going to a concert.
It is Baroque viola. It is viola in the form which exists in 7th and 18th century. The fingerboard is completely different. It is shorter. The bridge, you can see also, it is such called Stradivari form. Also you have got strings here that altogether makes the instrument of the 7th and 18th century.
What'd you think of the concert?
It was the most incredible early music performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was
Seriously.
so alive, like you could just feel it. Like it was really cool.
Interesting.
And also the church that they were in, they do a lot of recording there because the acoustics are really good for that.
And Katie and I also got to play Baroque viola. We talked to one of the violists, and there was a little bit of a language barrier.
And the composers, even the literary connections are totally present in everyday life. When I go see any Rimsky-Korsakov opera, which are never done in the United States. Here, I mean, everyone knows these tales. Their literature, their Pushkin, the Tolstoy, Dostoevsky.
Rimsky-Korsakov, the grandson, and his wife, who came to this apartment, they preserved everything they could and moved to the Russian history.
He was having breakfast alone with the company of his favorite dog called Rex. In the center of the table there was always place of Nadezhda Rimskaya-Korsakova, and on her right there was a place for Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. And everything that you see here is original. So at 9, as I already said, he went through the music room, through the guest room, to his study. And there is legend that he played a few notes there in order to tune his ear, and then he went to his study and was working there for a long time, until 12. And at 12 there was a common breakfast when the whole family gathered together here. And then also could be guests who came in, in order to tell fresh news. And then he went to the conservatory, usually at 1, or for rehearsals. At 6 there was a time for lunch, when the whole family again gathered together. And at 7 they could go to Mariinsky Theater or Capella or any other concerts, plays, venues. And if they gathered here, the dinner time was very late, even not midnight, but even later, like 2 a.m. So this schedule was very strict, that he never changed, and there were no days off.
Rimsky-Korsakov wrote a lot of symphonies. No, he didn't write symphonies, a lot of operas.
How many?
15? 15. They wanted him to write a lot of symphonies, but he didn't want to, so he didn't.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Nothing.
Just walking. We're going to Mariinsky tonight.
What are we gonna watch?
Cinderella.
Sleeping Beauty.
Something interesting, I think, with my research at the Mariinsky is they don't need to cultivate philanthropy like we do in the United States to raise money. And so instead they really cultivate a culture of concert going. People go to concerts because that's what they do. Here, the Mariinsky has no marketing. They sell out almost every day just because it's the Mariinsky. On the other hand, I wouldn't really want to work here as a musician. Here musicians are really not treated as well. They can work 8-10 hours a day at the Mariinsky. There's no overtime, they have no guaranteed time off. It's not unusual for them to put concerts together at the Mariinsky. No rehearsals, that's normal, totally normal. And they perform at a world-class level.
Hey guys!
Have you ever been to a ballet before? Like professional ballet?
One time, a real ballet. It was like Chicago. Have you ever been to a ballet before?
I haven't. So this is going to be really cool.
Like frou-frou dance party. It's just really awesome.
Music's good. Precision overall. It's very nice. There's no discrepancy.
After like the overture and when they open the
the curtains, I was like about to cry. It's just like a once in a lifetime experience.
It was amazing. I was afraid to blink.
What time is it now about?
It's like 11:20. It's a special thing called the White Nights, where it really doesn't get dark until very late.
Собственно, мы хотим показать этот инструмент сейчас в том плане, что игра оказывается общей. Инструменты очень разнообразные, а наигрыши, они образуют некую общность, целостность.
So Josh, where are we right now?
We're at the St. Petersburg Conservatory, and we just went up to one of the offices for the ethnomusicology department, and one of the professors was showing us this video of recordings of people playing all these folk instruments, and then they surprised us with 4 students coming in and singing for us a cappella, and it was incredible.
So what's happening now?
We're getting a tour of the whole place.
The special place where you can find the names of all the famous composers, the professors and the students of the conservatory, of Tchiakovsky, Rimsky-Korsakov. The Petersburg Conservatory gave to the world the names of very famous musicians. So among the famous conductors who studied here were Vladislav Chernyshchenko, who is the main conductor of St. Petersburg Capella, Valery Gergiev, who is the main conductor of Mariinsky opera. Stravinsky is the father, not the composer. He was a very famous singer in Mariinsky Theater also.
We're in front of a classroom where Shostakovich used to teach.
Life of a student at the conservatory. I begin my Russian class at 10 a.m., not terribly early, and that will go until 1. Students farther along will have the normal solfege, harmony, they'll have history of Russian music, they'll have philosophy, they'll have other classes. I have 2 conducting lessons per week. We meet as a studio and we'll stay for 4, 5, 6 hours with our teacher twice a week.
This is the class of Leopold Auer, the founder of Russian violin school. One of his famous students was Yasha Avitz.
What are we about to do?
After this, I think we're gonna go listen to some viola. I hear they're really intense. They're more intense than our juries by far. I'm nervous for the masterclass tomorrow. Being here is making me intimidated to play.
I came here hoping, with the intention that I'd get a really intensive education, like something really serious, really intense. I would say that definitely in general the classes, the teachers are much more serious. In the United States, I felt like I was much more obligated to go, and there's a syllabus, there's no syllabus, there's no textbook here. When I leave here, I won't have a piece of paper that's viewed as, official, as accredited.
We just saw the final exams for the students who are graduating. It was really good.
Oh man, there were some amazing players here in this conservatory.
Yeah. How would you describe the atmosphere of their jury?
Intense.
Yeah.
Very intense.
Describe it to me.
You come out, you walk out, and you just kind of do your bow. Nobody claps. You play, and all they say is "spasibo,"
which means
thank you.
At the end,
and
if you
just
make
walk
it.
off stage.
Kazansky Cathedral, which is shared now as a museum and actual active Orthodox cathedral. And during the Soviet times, it was used as a museum, and now it's shared.
We're at St. Petersburg Conservatory in the Opera Theater.
And what are we about to see?
Eugene Onegin.
Sean, you excited?
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Because this is one that I've learned about in text only, and I don't remember most of what I learned.
Yeah.
Can't wait to actually see it.
And they're really familiar with the characters Onegin and Peterhof, Dama Queen of Spades, and their folklore, which Rimsky-Korsakov uses. So all these operas and things that for us seem so distant are really a part of their culture. They grew up all knowing Firebird and Petrushka, and they do know that Stravinsky grew up down the street. You know, it's really present. I think even St. Petersburg, with the Hermitage, which is the largest art collection in the world, the Mariinsky Theater, which just has more performances than any other opera house in the world. And there are other venues too, the Mikhailovsky, which is also world class, and the Philharmonic. It just has an extraordinary culture and heritage I think most people are aware of and take advantage of.
Do it again, Katie. You mean it's Russian. I'm speaking Russian.
Oh, Josh, did you like it?
I'm also getting them up.
Started.
I think it's your eye.
It's either with the cheese, either with the meat.
Really good.
Try some more.
Where are we going?
Right now, it's one of the greatest art museums in the world. Huge, extensive collection. It kind of dates from Catherine the Great's time. Peter the Great moved the capital here from Moscow, established the city, but Catherine the Great really saw this incredible flourishing of Russian power, of Russian culture. So really increased the music and, amassed this huge art collection. Of course, the country was very wealthy at the time, massive military power, so this is where the funding for it came from. This represents the grand era of the Tsars, very powerful families, ruling the entire, country of Russia. So, this flourishing of culture was a great sort of source of power and sort of prestige. In the court, they only spoke French. As you can see, St. Petersburg was designed by Dutch and Italian architects and city planners and everything. So this sort of openness to the world and openness to other cultures was a sign of sophistication, definitely separating it from Moscow, which was, where everyone spoke Russian and had long beards and was sort of like the old style.
How was it? Really?
We saw a lot of palace interiors, or just rooms and ceilings covered with gold. I don't think I've ever taken so many photos of floors and ceilings.
Yeah.
No kidding.
It's really beautiful. I understand why it's one of the top museums in the world now.
Everything is really really grand and beautiful here, and there's just so much great architecture and so much great history.
Quite literally, how long do you think you could spend in there before you saw everything?
I would say years, probably, because I think this collection is 5% of the total Hermitage collection.
Getting ready for the masterclass. How do you feel?
A little nervous.
What did you do today?
I played in a masterclass. I played for Professor Vladimir Stopichev at the St. Petersburg Conservatory. It was really intimidating, but it was a good experience.
Yeah?
For sure.
Most of the time, you were understanding what he was saying without any help. What did you think of that? How did you feel?
He explained himself pretty well just by using singing and solfege and hand motions to talked a lot about the pieces being like a singing voice, so he would always demonstrate with singing to try and imitate that. It's mostly interpretation, phrasing, and he gave me a few pointers with different fingerings and bowings.
It was pretty cool that you guys were doing that.
So Sean, where are we headed to right now?
We're heading to the Church of Our Savior on the Spilled Blood.
Good. So now, where are we going?
Holy Cathedral.
The Church of Our Savior on the Spilled Blood was constructed in 1883 and it was finished in 1907 for a total of 24 years of construction.
Holy cow. So, this is the Church of Our Savior on Spilled Blood. All of this elaborate decoration you are seeing is all mosaic. Everything is done that way.
Although it is not a real place of worship right now, it is used as more of a museum for the mosaics, and it's said to be one of the largest collections of mosaics in the world.
On a boat.
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Take a good hard look.
We're on a boat. I know. Are you happy? I am really happy.
That's the Church of the Spilled Blood.
Во время Павла I, как резиденция которого было мистическое место в Петербурге. Город нашел прежде всего своими формами статуи.
So Kristen, what time is it right now?
It's 10:02 p.m.
It is 10:02 p.m. and it is this late outside.
Yep. Sunset isn't until like 11:30.
Hey Kristen, what are we doing right now?
We are on a hydrofoil,
And what is that?
a crazy looking boat that goes real fast.
Where are we headed to?
Peterhof Palace was definitely one of the most memorable experiences we had. We took a hydrofoil from the mainland of St. Petersburg to Peterhof, and the ride was only about 20 minutes on the hydrofoil, so it was very short. It was definitely a unique experience.
In Peterhof, from the 18th century, we used the system, a very clever system of water supply invented by the Russian engineer Tuvolkov. The idea is that here we have no pumps and no machinery. All the water comes from the Ropsha Heights. They are located about 20 kilometers from here. There are the springs. The springs give water supply to the ponds. There are 14 ponds altogether. Then by the system of canals and water pipes, the water comes to the gardens. The gravity and intercommunicating vessels system is used, and then the water is not recirculated. It just goes to the Gulf of Finland.
We just did a tour inside there where we weren't allowed to take any photos.
The palace itself was very ornate, and each of the rooms was decorated differently, so that each room had its own character. The walls were also covered in ornate wooden carvings that were painted with gold.
The tour guide just told us that they change out the flowers every season, which is a lot of work. And like when they were first building the gardens, they brought in all the soil and they brought like linden trees and they brought everything. So it was a lot of work, but.
And here we have a lovely tradition. If you would like to become lucky and rich, try to drop the coin in the high boot of Peter.
So legend has it that you rub the head, you make a wish, rub the head, and stick your hand in the griffin's mouth, and your wish will come true.
You gave it a noogie.
Not that gloomy.
Sean, tell us tell us about this very important, somber place here.
Well, we are at a memorial that you could take almost to be the heart of the city because here lie the mass graves of literally millions of the city then known as Leningrad by the Germans. And it's an amazing testament to the human spirit and devotion to one's homeland. For 900 days, supplies weren't coming into the city, yet the universities functioned, civil life went on as normal, on rations, yea much bread. People were living, fighting through each day. Not everybody made it, but the city did.
You can see on this granite wall we have the verses written by Olga Berboltz and dedication to those who protected the city and who is buried here. And in these mass graves, in some of them 5,000-10,000 people are buried. So it's really incredible. And we have in these two museum pavilions the so-called Book of Memory. And we have still the historians who are looking for these soldiers who disappeared, and their bodies are still found in the outskirts of our city.
Where are we right now?
We are on a night train going to Moscow.
And can I take a look at your room?
Yeah.
And that's how many beds? Wow. Sleep tight, literally. Okay.
Small program today, just to show you.
Our first day in Moscow, we had the opportunity to tour an art school, and we were given a private performance of folk music, and we played games and we ate food, and it was just really fun.
He'll try to escape. Don't.
So Rebecca, what did you just experience?
Today we went to the Russian version of Saturday Night Live. We had like special treatment. Like Fedotov always gets us the hookup. I don't know how he does it. We got to go in first, and people weren't very happy about that. All the Russians were like, "Why do they get to go?" But we were invited.
Покажите, пожалуйста, более подробно. Я вижу, что нет никаких.
They like had a break and stuff, and then when we went back, Will Smith and Jaden Smith were on there, and they rapped and they danced for us, and it was pretty cool.
Yo, it's like this, Santa, don't stop and keep on, yo. Check it, observe the brick, the impervious one. Sick with the verbs, he's done quickly. What it takes some a lifetime to do. Write rhymes and into the bright lights of Hollywood. Son from the slum to the red carpet. Now his feet up chewing gum in the head office. With his Air Force Ones on the phone talking. Son's flickers #1 again, crumb talking. Give me 10 feet.
And it was like crazy. It was like the Fresh Prince was in there, and we were there.
It was crazy. I wasn't prepared for what was happening.
The Red Square is the central square of Moscow. The square was named in the 17th century, and there are several misconceptions about the meaning behind it. Many people believe that the word red refers to its color or its affiliation with communism. The Russian word for red, however, means beautiful. Therefore, the Red Square is a beautiful square.
Gates to the Red Square, and they were broken during the Soviet era because they were staying on the way of those tanks getting into the parade on the Red Square. These particular gates are not original, they copy.
From the Red Square, one can access the St. Basil's Cathedral, Lenin's tomb, and the Kremlin.
St. Basil's Cathedral. Underneath its complex and colorful skin, its skeleton is made of one central church and 8 satellite churches built symmetrically around it. The site, which marks the geometric center of Moscow, was historically a busy marketplace, which explains why Tsar Ivan IV chose this church to commemorate his military conquests. The inspiration for this design is unknown, as there are no comparable buildings known to predate it.
From the square, one can hear the bells from the Kremlin tolling every hour. The buildings on the square are also lit up at night. Throughout history, several public ceremonies and protests took place here. Today, the square holds many popular music concerts. They are actually considering moving Lenin's tomb because it is considered disrespectful to host rock concerts right next to the burial place of one of Russia's most famous leaders. The Red Square was an amazing place to visit. It is a place full of historical importance for Russia. However, many of us were surprised to find that it wasn't a large, empty plaza. The use of the square for concerts and popular gatherings means that a portion of it is regularly blocked off from public use.
The subway system in Moscow, called the Metro, is the second most heavily used rapid transit system in the world, with a daily ridership of about 6.73 million people. The system is located underground, with its deepest point being 276 feet below street level.
The Kremlin is located at the heart of Moscow, next to the Red Square. It houses 5 palaces and 4 cathedrals. The name Kremlin means fortress. So inside the Kremlin, there's a music hall called the State Kremlin Palace. It is one of the largest and best music halls in the world, and it is also one of the youngest buildings found in the Moscow Kremlin. The auditorium can seat 6,000 people, and 1,000 people can occupy the stage at any given time. Concerts, ballets, and movie premieres are some of the many events that take place here. The Kremlin is very large and covers an area of about 275,000 square meters. It's in the form of a triangle, and there are several towers surrounding the area that are known as the Kremlin Towers. The Assumption Cathedral is one of the 4 cathedrals found in Cathedral Square, located at the center of the Kremlin. The coronation of Russian Tsars took place within this cathedral.
Fedotov was saying that people would hire architects to build churches, and after they finished it, on their way out, they would catch them and stab their eyes out so that they never built a beautiful church like that ever again. They would have to be the only one.
The life of Bolshoj Theater began on March 28, 1776. The first building stood on Petrovka Street and was given the name Petrovsky Theater. It took less than 6 months to build and was the first public theater building of its size in Moscow. The theater opened on December 30, 1780, with the opening performance being a pantomime ballet called The Magic School, which was produced by Leopold Paradis and set to music by Joseph Starzer. The chandelier in the auditorium was originally lit by 300 oil lamps. It had to be lit through a special opening, and it was because of this opening that the composition by Alexei Titov of Apollo and the Muses was circular. A lesser-known fact about the mural is Polyhymnia, the muse of the sacred hymn, is replaced by Titov's own muse, the muse of painting. In 1805, the theater burned down and wasn't rebuilt until 1820. The new theater was much bigger and could accommodate over 2,000 people in the auditorium. In 1806, the Petrovsky Theater School was reorganized into the Moscow Imperial Theater College for the training of theater artists and musicians, opera, and ballet. In March of 1853, another fire broke out and continued for 3 days. It was then rebuilt by architect Alberto Cavos, and the theater reopened its doors in 1956 with a 6-tier auditorium holding 2,300 people.
When we were in Moscow, we had the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet Shostakovich's widow, Irina Shostakovich. We also were able to tour his private apartment in Moscow, Dmitri Shostakovich is a Soviet-Russian composer born on September 25, 1906, and lived until August 9, 1975. He achieved much of his fame under the patronage of Soviet staff, but he later had a difficult relationship with the government, which played into his music. Shostakovich was not only a composer, but a pianist and a well-known 20th century music figure. Some of the things that I really enjoyed from that were seeing his piano and all of the original orchestra scores and pieces, but the coolest thing to me was seeing his desk where he would compose.
Один из первых инструментов Шостаковича, приехавший из Ленинграда.
This is usually one of his first instruments by company Bludner.
Купленный на
Came from St. Petersburg,
по
from Leningrad here.
легенде, как мы говорим, купленный на деньги от носа.
Oh. And as a legend says, that piano was bought on an honorarium that he received from Upper Nose.
Это болгарского художника Добринова, сделанный в Болгарии в 1958 году, когда это квартет Кустодиев, который был уже в это время в очень преклонном возрасте, он написал на этом портрете моему маленькому другу Мите Шостаковичу.
That's what они сделали. Can I guess very quickly? Это было, мне нужно было использовать деньги.
Ну и чем я могу быть полезным?
Да ничем. Они просто могут, они хотели просто вам благодарить вас за то, что вы предоставили возможность побывать в Шостаковиче.
Thank you for your visit. And I wish you success in profession.
Спасибо.
Ой, по-русски заговорили.